You're watching TimesXP. I'm Driti Atri, and here are the biggest stories that are making headlines across the globe today. So let's start with it. Gaza flotilla intercepted. Dozens of international activists attempting to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza on the global Sumud flotilla was intercepted by Israeli forces. The flotilla included volunteers from multiple countries trying to break the blockade. Their mission aimed to provide critical food, medicines, and supplies to civilians in desperate need. Allegations of harsh treatment of the activists here. Activists report being dragged, caged, and publicly humiliated by Israeli forces. High-profile names like Greta Thunberg have been caught in this particular controversy. Human rights groups are calling for multiple investigations into the alleged abuse. Israel denies allegations. Israeli authorities insist that all the detainees were treated according to the international law. They claim that the flotilla deliberately violated security zones near Gaza. Officials call report of mistreatment false and politically motivated. European support for the activists. Deported activists were met with cheers and banners in Spain, Portugal, and other countries as well. Crowds chanted, "Palestine will win," showing solidarity with Gaza's plight. Activists described the welcome as emotional and overwhelming after this ordeal. Diplomacy in Cairo. Delegations from Israel and Hamas are scheduled for final ceasefire talks in Cairo. The meetings, they are aimed at establishing a lasting end to hostilities. In the meantime, the US President, Mr. Donald Trump, is reportedly playing a central role in pushing the negotiations forward. Fragile negotiations here. Experts warn that a single misstep could undo months of diplomatic efforts. Be it hostages, civilians, and aid workers, they all remain at risk if the talks collapse. Maintaining dialogue is very important to preventing further escalation in Gaza. Global spotlight on Gaza right now. The flotilla incident has sparked worldwide attention on humanitarian aid issues. International law and Israel's handling of the protests, they are being scrutinized. Social media campaigns and global protests are amplifying the activists' message. Caribbean tension rise. A United States military strike near Venezuelan water killed 4 and heightened regional tensions. In the meantime, the US claims that the vessel carried narcotics intended for the US. Now, this particular incident has alarmed neighboring countries and sparked diplomatic concern. Russia supports Venezuela now. Yes, you heard that right. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov vowed full support for Venezuela. Moscow condemned the United States strike as unacceptable and promised the defense assistance. Russia also emphasized keeping the Caribbean a zone of peace. Trump praises the strike. In the meantime, US President Mr. Donald Trump called the operation a success against cartel terrorists. He warned that further military action could occur if the threats continue. Trump framed the entire strike as part of a broader plan to secure US borders. Repeat US strikes. Now, this marks the 4th US military operation in the region within weeks. At least 21 people have been died in these combined incidents. The repeated actions have drawn criticism from Venezuela and the regional allies as well. Venezuela accused United States. Their president, Mr. Nicolas Maduro, claimed that Washington is attempting to destabilize his government. Officials warned repeated strike could threaten continental stability. In the meantime, Venezuela frames the attack as part of a broader geopolitical strategy. Geopolitical stakes, their experts, they warn that Caribbean could become a major international hotspot. Any misstep over there could escalate a local maritime strike into global conflict. The US, Russia, and Venezuela remain locked in a tense standoff. Peace Haven mosque fire. A mosque in Peace Haven, United Kingdom, was deliberately set on fire on a quiet Saturday night. 2 people trapped inside escaped unharmed, but the entrance, it was severely damaged. Police are investigating right now the entire incident. This crime is suspected as a hate crime. Masked attackers reportedly poured gasoline on the mosque steps before igniting it. The attack is part of a rising trend of religious hate crimes in the US. Well, investigators are reviewing the CCTV and searching for the one who attacked it. CCTV footage released. Footage show two masked men trying to break into the mosque. The images have heightened a lot of concern over security at a small town place of worship. Authorities are urging residents to report any suspicious activity in that particular area. Community reaction: well, local Muslim leaders said that this particular incident left people frightened and angry. Residents are demanding increased police patrol and surveillance. In the meantime, the attack is seen as a direct threat to the safety of the worshippers. UK religious violence surge. Well, the mosque fire comes just days after a deadly attack outside a Manchester synagogue. Both Islamophobic and anti-Semitic crimes have been rising across the country. Here, authorities are urging communities to remain vigilant while the law enforcement investigates the entire matter. Trump issues nuclear warning. Yes, you heard that right. US President Mr. Donald Trump declared that the US is all ready to respond with full military force if Iran or Venezuela pursues nuclear weapons. Well, the warning is meant to signal America's deterrence capability. Trump emphasized that the US will not tolerate any nuclear threat. Operation Midnight Hammer. Trump claimed a secret military operation targeting Iranian nuclear sites with cruise missile and B-2 bomber. The world knows about it. He ultimately warned Tehran and Caracas that any attempt to rebuild nuclear program would be met with severe consequences. Well, the announcement underscores the United States' aggressive stance on global nuclear security. Global reaction here: Iran called the strike an act of war and promised retaliation too. In the meantime, Venezuela accused the US of trying to create global chaos. Allies and international observers expressed deep concern over escalating tension. Military experts divide. While some analysts hail the strike as proof of United States' precision and strength, whereas others warn the actions could dangerously escalate conflict worldwide. Debates continue over whether the military move are strategic or reckless. Erdogan praises Trump's Gaza plan. Yes, you heard that right. Finally, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan publicly supported Trump's Gaza peace plan proposal. He claimed that Hamas responded very positively to the parts of the plan, surprising global observers. Well, the move indicates a potential shift in Turkey's Middle East diplomacy. Humanitarian aid commitment. Turkey plans to send medical teams, food, temporary shelters to Gaza, while the effort emphasizes protection of civilians during the ongoing conflict. Turkey aims to maintain its role as a regional peace mediator. Erdogan balancing act here: analysts see Turkey bridging ties between the West and the Muslim world. Erdogan tries to maintain his image as a Palestinian advocate while cooperating with the US as well. Well, the strategy could reshape Turkey's influence in the peace process. US nuclear funding crisis. The NNSA reportedly has funding for only 8 days more. Without urgent congressional action, nuclear safety could be compromised. Here, officials warn of severe consequences if maintenance and security is shattered. Potential global risk here: the NNSA monitors over 5,000 warheads, nuclear reactors, submarines. Now, funding shortfalls could actually halt the investigations, maintenance, and maybe security protocols as well. Even a single lapse could destabilize global nuclear deterrence. Greta Thunberg detained. Swedish activist Greta Thunberg was reportedly detained during the flotilla interception. In fact, she faced allegations of mistreatment and public humiliation by the Israeli forces. International protocols and social media campaigns are now demanding apology for the mistreatment. Israel protest movement. Well, Israeli civilians protested outside Tel Nov Air Force Base, urging the pilots to avoid bombing Gaza. Families of the hostages in the meantime and the civilians, they also demanded a ceasefire to save the lives. The protest reflects growing public frustration over the ongoing airstrikes. Russia warns the US over Ukraine, while Russian President Mr. Vladimir Putin, he warned that supplying Ukraine with the Tomahawk missiles could destroy the United States-Russia relationship. Well, the warning suggests a possible escalation of the Ukraine conflict into direct confrontation. Now here, global analysts fear that the move could dramatically shift the balance of power in Europe. That's all for now. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and come back on TimesXP same time tomorrow for the latest news that matters the most. I'm Driti Atri. See you next time.